Keep up to date everywhere. News Talk 820 WBAP.
In the WBAP newsroom.
Let me talk about what was put out by our governor and the intentions of President-elect Donald Trump to end sanctuary cities with my next guest. This is very important to me because, and it's actually kind of a weird juxtaposition. I'm going to be talking about the legality of forcing cities to behave within the law. It's astonishing to me. Ann Badmus is my guest, an immigration reform expert in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She's an attorney with solidcounsel.com, the law firm of Scheef and Stone. And welcome back to the Chris Salcedo Show.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, let's have a conversation. Governor Abbott has tweeted out, and of course, the campaign of Donald Trump was run on basically not only securing the border, but also dealing with sanctuary cities. These are cities across the country that thumb their nose at federal immigration law. What type of legal ground are they going to be able to stand on here?
Well, I think, first of all, Chris, I think we have to really understand what a sanctuary city is. Policies of local police departments, basically with their concerns of policing. I mean, I don't think it's a situation where they're not concerned with enforcing their, policing policies, but it's not a situation where someone who is arrested, for example, that is known to have illegal status is pretty much let go. They certainly still have to go through that process of the local police, requirements. And they are also notified, or the USCIS or the Department of Homeland Security is notified about their presence. So I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, well, see, and then there are some sanctuary cities that may stop there, but there are others like San Francisco who are a little more extreme, who say not only are we not going to do the Fed's job and put that on our police officers, but we will not cooperate with federal authorities when it comes to locating and getting rid of, let's say, for example, felons who are illegal immigrants, and they have taken positions that we're just not going to cooperate with the federal government. In my mind, that is above and beyond. Would you agree?
Well, I think in terms of the cooperation, I mean, I haven't noticed that about that policy. I'm not sure if I agree with the way it's stated. I think certainly if there is a court order, the police will follow through on that. And I think that's what they're saying, is that we will certainly comply if there's a court order to do so. As far as what you mean by cooperation, as far as actually going out and locating or trying to find undocumented immigrants, whether they're felons or not, I don't think that's the policy that they're adhering to.
All right. So now let's take the statements of not only the President-elect Donald Trump, who has vowed to deal with sanctuary cities, and with Governor Abbott. So are you saying this is all rhetorical, that it means nothing at the end of the day, that these cities truly are doing nothing wrong?
No, I'm basically saying, really, as someone who is an advocate of immigration reform, that we need to look at this as a whole, and we need to understand why the local community policing policies may have reasons for doing this, or what their policies are. And we need to have a conversation, and then Congress and the president need to look at that from all sides and figure out a way to actually address all our concerns about the situation.
Ann Badmus, our guest right now, folks, immigration reform expert in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, an attorney with solidcounsel.com, the law firm of Scheef and Stone. Mayor Bill de Blasio, let me give you an example here, a Democrat who runs New York. $7.7 billion in federal funds for his city is on the line, courtesy of Donald Trump. He is threatening to delete a database that he has in his possession of 850,000 residents he knows are illegally in his city, in defiance of anything the Trump administration would do. First off, is that legal for him to do that? If the federal government wants to get a handle on illegal immigrants, and is that something that indicates to you cooperation with federal law?
Well, I think that's going to certainly be an issue if that happens as far as, actually the solution of the database. I think that's, honestly, I don't know if it's something that is legal in the sense of we're looking at state laws as well as federal laws. I think it's going to be an issue of whether a state has certain rights with respect to its policing policies as opposed to the federal government's requirements.
Right.
So that may be one of the issues they're looking at.
Yeah, there are. We have heard case after case after case, and it is not indicative of the vast majority of the illegal immigrant population, but there is a significant number of these illegal immigrants who are multiple-time felons. Mr. Obama has had a practice of releasing them back onto the streets in America, not keeping them in jail, and certainly not deporting them. If the Trump administration wants to focus primarily on felons, on multiple-time deportees who are back in the country, and says to cities, we expect your cooperation, is that well within his rights to do that?
Well, I think, just to backtrack, I would have to say that as far as my experience for the past 8 years under President Obama's administration, I don't see a release of felons. I believe that their policy was actually to pursue criminal aliens, just as President-elect Trump has stated. And I think that there are programs in place to elicit that cooperation between the federal government and local policing. So, there are a lot of competing interests, and you really have to look at, the local side and what their objectives are, as well as the federal government side. And I think, again, this is something that has to go back to Congress.
Oh, no, I understand. What we're making reference to is, of course, the well-publicized release of ICE of 19,723 criminal illegal immigrants. 208 of them were convicted of murder, 900 of sex crimes, and they were released back on the streets of the United States. And that was Barack Obama is infamous for this, and he says one thing out of his mouth, and his actions do something completely different. So these individuals who are criminal illegal aliens have been released back on the streets of the United States. Some for lesser crimes, but still dangerous, drunk driving. But again, the sex crimes, convicts, and of course the murderers back on the streets, it's abhorrent, and Americans are tired of this special treatment for the illegal immigrant community. Last thing I have to ask of you is if Governor Abbott of the state of Texas and other governors decide to team up with the incoming administration, do they have a legal ground to stand on if they want to crack down on sanctuary cities and their accommodation of illegal immigrants?
Well, again, if you're looking in terms of constitutionality, I think that would be something that could be challenged. I'm not a constitutional lawyer, so I can't really talk all about the details of that. So, I think there's just going to be a question that if it happens, you probably will see some, pursuit of or determination trying to get to the Supreme Court at least at some point to figure out whether or not it is legal.
Ann Badmus, everybody, immigration reform expert in the Dallas-Fort Worth area there in North Texas, and an attorney with solidcounsel.com, the law firm of Scheef and Stone. Thanks for your time here on the Salcedo Show, as always.
Thank you, Chris.
You betcha.